Dua tren kak diem kot trian ban kung kap, doi de la bai viet mo rong, di va lin mok, trian kai noi dung kua General Hospital Nga 1 thang 5 nam 2025, voi chu sao tam lin yan vat, mu phuk tap va su leo thang kua nung bai mat chua duok tiet lo. On the warm, deceptively calm morning of May 1, 2025, Port Charles stood on the brink of another firestorm. The consequences of manipulation, ambition, and long-buried secrets began to detonate in quiet corners and public spaces alike. Drew Cain, once seen as a pillar of resolve and integrity, now found himself shackled not only by public scandal but by the haunting echoes of decisions he had convinced himself were justifiable. What happened at the Savoy was no mere stumble in decorum. It was an implosion, a grotesque fall from grace so dramatic it could have been scripted for the theater. Under the lurid lighting of the club, Drew's ketamine-fueled antics weren't just a moment of poor judgment. They were the living manifestation of a man unraveling, pushed by forces unseen and utterly unprepared for the repercussions. The truth that Nina and Portia had clandestinely introduced the drug into the equation to execute a meticulously designed takedown only twisted the dagger further. It wasn't just the humiliation that stung Drew, it was the gnawing realization that he had been a pawn, and worse, a predictable one. Now, the court of public opinion loomed. Willow, still struggling to make sense of the man Drew had become, demanded answers, not just as a mother, or as someone who once believed in him, but as someone who deserved the dignity of the truth. Curtis, who owned the Savoy, wasn't going to let this slide either. The damage to his reputation and business could be irreparable, and he made it clear that no amount of political clout would silence the fallout. And then there were the voters, the faceless crowd Drew once represented with conviction. If the rumors became headlines, he would be finished. His career, his name, even his access to his own child could all be lost. And in all of this, the question remained, did Drew even remember the full scope of what he did that night, or had the ketamine clouded more than just his judgment? As Drew rehearsed what could be his last chance at redemption, another drama unfolded across town, quieter but no less cunning. Jocelyn Jacks, brilliant, ambitious, and with an almost surgical precision in how she approached her goals, was in the middle of crafting a plan that would define her summer and possibly her future. Getting back into the good graces of Professor Dalton after arriving late to environmental sciences was no small task. His disdain for tardiness was legendary, and his standards for research assistants even more so. Jocelyn wasn't going to leave this to chance. She needed that assistantship, not just for her resume, but for the access and prestige it brought. And when a Jacks wanted something, the universe had better step aside. Her mind raced through contingencies and distractions. Would a sudden change in the class roster work? Perhaps a well-timed error in scheduling? Or, more dangerously, could she orchestrate something to make Emma miss out? It didn't have to be malicious. Just a small, accidental oversight. A misplaced email. A missed deadline. Maybe even a fabricated emergency. But would she go so far as to sabotage Emma's opportunity, even if only indirectly? For now, the smile on Jocelyn's face hid something far darker beneath, a ruthless willingness to claim what she believed was hers, no matter the cost. Meanwhile, inside the safe yet emotionally charged walls of the Spencer family home, Lulu was grappling with a haunting past. The conversation between her and Laura, seemingly benign, was anything but. Laura, as perceptive and measured as ever, suspected the storm that was gathering. Whether she was warning Lulu about the footage from the Savoy or gently nudging her about the child Brooke Lynn once gave up, the implication was clear: this wasn't just about a secret. It was about a reckoning. Lulu, who had only recently begun to step back into herself after her time away, now faced the horrifying truth. Dante had a child out there, and he didn't know. The ethical dilemma clawed at her. Who was she to decide when or how Dante learned the truth? But who else would carry that burden if she didn't speak? Brooke Lynn's silence was no longer sustainable. If this came to light from anyone but her, Dante would feel betrayed not just by one person, but by all of them. Laura's guidance was firm: truth must precede peace. Yet the moment Lulu considered opening her mouth, fear paralyzed her, fear of hurting Dante, of destroying the fragile harmony they were rebuilding, and of what that revelation would mean for the child they had both, unknowingly, abandoned. Elsewhere, that same name, Brooke Lynn, was being whispered through the marble halls of the Quartermaine estate. Tracy, sharp as ever and no stranger to the scent of guilt, saw the cracks in her granddaughter's demeanor. Brooke Lynn, whose passion and musical legacy had often made her a force to be reckoned with, now looked lost. Her desire to adopt a child with Chase seemed genuine, but it was tainted by the truth she refused to speak: she already had a child, one she gave away. The silence between Brooke Lynn and Tracy was thick, every sentence weighed down by what wasn't said. Tracy didn't know. But if she suspected, and Tracy always suspected, then Brooke Lynn's time was limited. Secrets, no matter how deeply buried, had a way of rising, especially in Port Charles. The longer she waited, the worse the fallout would be, not just for her and Chase, but for Dante, the PCPD, and the child caught in the middle. And speaking of the police department, tensions quietly simmered there as well. Detective Harrison Chase had spent years proving his loyalty to the badge and to his closest friend, Dante Falconeri. But on this day, that friendship was about to be tested in a way that neither of them could have foreseen. Chase approached Dante with what, on the surface, looked like a simple favor. But beneath the request was a minefield of deceit and desperation. Chase was hiding something, a truth so explosive that, if revealed, could shatter more than just friendships. It could compromise entire investigations and permanently stain the relationship between key departments in Port Charles law enforcement. Dante sensed the unease. The tone. The hesitation. He'd known Chase too long not to notice. But he didn't press, not yet. Because when a man like Chase comes to you with a request veiled in half-truths and unspoken fear, the worst thing you can do is push. No, Dante would wait. He would observe. He would give Chase the space to dig his own grave, or come clean. But whatever the favor was, it would soon become clear that it wasn't just a personal matter. It was connected to the very fabric of everything unraveling in the town: Brooke Lynn's secret, Drew's public humiliation, Jocelyn's ambition, and the fragility of every bond tested by time and betrayal. As night fell over Port Charles, a storm churned just beneath the surface. From the Savoy's shattered reputation to the confessional shadows inside Spencer and Quartermain walls, May 1st was not merely a day of consequences. It was a warning. That in Port Charles, no secret stays buried forever. Ban ko muon toi viet tip din bien nge hom sao, hoak mo rong sao hun ve am mu kuanina va Porsche Kong?